Well, hello there and welcome to my object-oriented PHP course. In this course, we're going to be building a move management system using PHP and MySQL. And we'll use object-oriented PHP, and this is the project that we're going to be building. So this is the admin dashboard, and this is the front end. And we'll build the entire system using object-oriented PHP. Object-oriented programming helps you write code that's easy to maintain, easy to debug, and easy to reuse. So that means you're going to be able to reuse the classes we're going to be building in this course on other projects. Before I give you a quick demo of the project, let me just show you what I mean by code that's easy to maintain and easy to reuse. So I've got this mini project here, which is a completely different project from what we're going to be building in this course. So I'm going to show you how I reuse some of the classes that we're going to be building in this course. I'm going to show you how I reuse those classes in this mini project right here. All right. Okay, so first up, we've got the CRUD class, which is the class that takes care of our database transactions. So I'm reusing the class on the billing system. And okay, let me show you how I actually reuse it. So you see that I call the create method from the CRUD object to insert customers to the customers table. And I also call the same method to insert invoices to the invoices table. All right. This is what typical code for inserting data to the database looks like in procedural programming. And you can see it's long and it's kind of hard to read and reuse. So if you wanted to reuse this code, say maybe had multiple pages that insert different data to different tables, you'd have to copy this entire code and change a few lines, and you'd end up with a bunch of long code that's just sitting all over the place. But with object-oriented programming, you can see that it looks neat and it's easy to reuse. So that's the beauty of object-oriented programming. See, I just pass an array of data to be inserted to the database and the table to insert that data to. And the create method handles the logic for inserting the data. I don't have to rewrite the logic. So that's the beauty of object-oriented programming. And next up, we've got the Paginator class, which is the class that takes care of our pagination on the admin dashboard and on the front end. All right, and now I'll show you how we can reuse that class on this billing system right here. So right now we're displaying all records, all customers from the customers table, and what we want to do is to limit the number of results to display per page and display pagination links at the bottom of the page. All right. So the first thing we want to do is we want to include the Paginator class. And the first thing you always want to do whenever working with pagination is to count the number of rows found. Okay, so I'll go customers. So I'll just select all customers from the database, and I'll go CRUD, read, select, let's just select the ID from customers, and I want to count the number of rows found. All right, and the number of rows found will be used by the pagination to calculate the last page of your pagination, and the formula for calculating the last page is the number of rows found divided by the number of rows you want to display per page. So if you've got 15 results and you want to display 5 results per page, the last page will be 3. and the paginator will use the last page to generate your pagination links. So it will do a while loop that looks like while I is less than last page, generate pagination links, and it will give you 1, 2, 3 at the bottom of the page. All right, and okay, and now the next thing is to create an instance of our paginator class, and we want to pass the number of rows found as a parameter and the number of results to display per page. So this is the number of rows we want to display per page, and then we can go ahead and call, let's see, the get limit and offset method from the instance of the paginator. Okay, so now this will limit the number of okay, let's see, and let's append that to our query. All right, and now this will limit the number of results to display per page, and the limit is the number that you specify here, and the offset is the number of rows to skip. All right, okay, so let's test that. Cool, let's see, and you see now we're getting 5 results, and we need to display the pagination, we need to display pagination links at the bottom of the page. Okay, so we're gonna call, let's see, we're gonna call a method from our pagination, our paginator. So we're gonna call a method from our paginator class that will give us the pagination links, and it's called get pagination links. And you can go ahead and display the pagination links at the bottom of the page. Okay, this is the shorthand for echo. Okay, and now let's see. Okay, and now we have our beautiful pagination links, and if we click on 2, that will give us the next set of results. Cool, and now let me quickly show you what pagination looks like in procedural programming. So this is what pagination looks like in procedural programming. And you can see this is long, and it's kind of hard to reuse and read. So if you wanted to reuse this code again, you would have a bunch of long code that's sitting all over the place, and that's just hard to maintain. But with object-oriented PHP, you just call a few methods from the paginator class, and the paginator does everything for you. It calculates the offset and the limit and gives you the pagination links. So that is the beauty of object-oriented programming. It helps you write reusable code. All right, and next up we've got the validator class, which is the class that takes care of validation on our movies project. All right, and I'm going to show you how you can integrate it with a different project. All right, so I'll integrate it with a billing system. All right, so what happens at the moment is that when I hit submit, see, I get an error because the balance field must be a number and right now it's empty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to integrate the validator class to make sure that all the required fields are filled in and they are in the right format. All right, so the first thing you want to do is we want to include the validator class. All right, and then want to define our validation rules. Okay, and let's see. Okay, now this means that the name is required, the address is required, the balance must be a number, the username must be an email, the date created is required, the password is required. All right, and I want to create an instance of our validator. Oops, sorry, what am I doing? And the first parameter is the data that you want to validate. In this case, we're validating customer data. And then the second parameter is the validation rules. All right. And then we want to fire our validation. Okay, this is the method from our validator class. And let me just give you a sneak preview of what it looks like. All right. So this is what it looks like. All right, and I'll explain how it works on the course. For now, I'm just showing you how to use it. All right. And we want to save the data only if the validation passes. All right, so for that we're gonna do validator if validator passes, and then you can save the data. All right, so now this line of code will only run if the validation passes, and this method is a method from our validator class as well, and it checks if the errors array is empty, then the validation passes. If the errors array is not empty, then the validation fails. All right, okay, and let's see. And now if I submit, nothing should happen, right? We should not get any errors because the validation will fail. So what I mean is we should not get the error that we got previously, because the data won't be saved because the validation will fail because all the fields will be empty, right? Nothing happens. So what we want to do is we want to display errors below each field. All right, and let's see. Okay, for that we're going to call another method from our validator class. Gonna call a static method, and what this does now is it gets the error for each field, whatever field we specify here. And let's get the error for the address. And for the balance as well. Username. And lastly, for the password. All right, and now let's refresh and let's try to submit again. See, it's giving us errors. All right, and let's try to fill in valid details. Doesn't matter the balance. Let's say the guy has $50 and the username is John at do.gmail.com. sorry, password doesn't matter. All right, and let's go to our PHP my admin. Okay, and right now we currently have 29 rows. Okay, and we're gonna try and submit this data. Submit this data and submit. Cool. And if we go to our customers table, we should have one new record. See, I've got one new record. Okay, that's because the validation went well and this code executed. All right. Okay, and this is what validation looks like in procedural programming. You can see it's long. I've got a bunch of ifs and else's, but with object-oriented version, you're doing the validation in less than 8 lines of code. Alright, so I hope at this point you can see the benefits of object-oriented programming. Besides helping you write code that's reusable, it also saves you like lines and lines of code. You see how long this is versus the object-oriented version, which is sweet and short. So that is the beauty of object-oriented programming.